it's through relationships and doing life together. And that was how God designed
Mm-hmm.
the original influencer. That's how we were influenced, is by the women in our real life.
In your article, you talk about kind of the original influencers and what that looked like. Can we start there? Because I want to go back to
absolutely
what was that like before we had all this social media and stuff?
Right.
What did that look like even for you? But let's go even back even further.
Back.
What were influencers like back in the olden days?
And back in the olden days, well, think from the very beginning. I mean, and God writes about this, Titus 2. He says the older women are to teach the younger, right? And then what does it talk about teaching them? Like how to be a wife, how to, run all of that. The Bible talks about nonstop. It comes through personal relationships with people in your real life, right? That's what the original influencer is. So need to learn how to cook. You sit at the feet starting when you're a little tiny girl with your mom who taught you to cook. Need to learn how to, rock a baby, change a diaper. You didn't run to Pinterest to find out what the best diaper was. You talked to the women in your community, in your life, your mom, your grandma, your aunt, your neighbor. And those were the original influencers. And how they influenced was by being a part of your life, like actually doing life shoulder to shoulder together. And that's how we passed things on. That's how we learned things. It wasn't by, peeping Tom into somebody else's life.
Right.
And so that's what really struck me is the article starts with the list of women in my life that just shared things, like even down to the simple thing of like my sister-in-law teaching me how to get gross things off of a pan by sprinkling baking soda and making a paste. And, I remember specifically learning that from her. And how did I do it? Well, it's because we had cooked together in a kitchen together.
Right.
And she was a step ahead of me. And so she showed me that. And it's through relationships and doing life together. And that was how God designed the original influencer. That's how we were influenced, is by the women in our real life.
Many of us still have that.
Right.
In a
We
sense,
do.
especially if we live close by, mom or grandma or, an aunt or just a good friend, ladies in our church, things like that.
Yeah.
But it really has changed. So
yeah. And I think by default, people Google something, want to know how to do something, find it out. Want to know how to make bread, hop online and you'll get 53 different people telling you 53 different ways. People don't naturally call their neighbor lady next door. I mean, it's not happening, And I think we live in a generation where, and the problem with that is we're learning from someone that's learning simultaneously. Like when I look at these influencers, I'm like, you just planted your first garden this year and now you're giving garden tutorials. And so they don't have that wisdom and that the years of the experience, the years of figuring it out and finding out what works and what doesn't work. And I want to go back actually for a minute because you had said the word. So we talk a lot about influencers, but who are the influencers influencing? And you said it. They're influencing their followers. That's what it's called, followers. Right. And even just the terminology that this social media world has taken has really, it struck me. It's like they're taking words that God gave because he said, what? Come and follow me, right? A follower. And I even think it's twisting what is a follower, right? Today, what a follower is it's someone that you don't know them. They don't know you. Like the people I follow on social media, they have no idea who I am. They have no clue who I could die tomorrow and they wouldn't even know. And I truly don't have a clue who they are. I know what they show me, Right. And I think it's leaving a whole generation void of even understanding like what is a follower. When Jesus said, come and follow me, that means to be known and to know, like to know him and to be known by him, to trust him, to depend on him, and to be obedient to him. Like that's what a real follower is. And we've twisted this follower and it's really, I kind of liken it to, it's a peeping Tom. Like really, we are a peeping Tom into people's lives, and then rather than do this Titus 2 thing and learning, the Bible is clear, learn from who? The older are to teach the younger. And that's not what's happening. We're having this peer-to-peer learning. And I don't really find that in the word. And the other damaging thing I think it's doing is I'm seeing this older generation who feel like they're not needed or wanted.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this older generation, they hit retirement and then their life is about what do we get to do next? Where do we get to travel? What hobbies do we get to take up? Because they're not needed and wanted by the younger generation anymore. And it's sad to me. It's really sad to me to see that disconnect, that generational disconnect. So that first one is we're getting this misconception of what is a follower, you know? And I think that can affect us biblically is what does it mean to follow Christ? It doesn't mean to just check in once in a while and see if he's made any new reels that I need to see that day, you know? It's a relationship. That's what it is.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.